In this video, we're going to simplify fractions involving radicals. So let's go ahead and then simplify this problem right here. We have two different fractions and we are supposed to combine them. A quicker way to simplify this problem is to make sure we have the same denominators. So what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to multiply this right here by square root of 3 plus 1. Then on the denominator side, I'm going to do the exact same thing, square root of 3 plus 1. Then for this fraction right here, I'm going to multiply the numerator side by square root of 3 minus 1. Then on the denominator side, I'll also multiply it by square root of 3 minus 1. Now, why am I doing this? Before I answer this problem, let's go ahead and then put these ones in parentheses so that it can be obvious that we are multiplying these two factors. Cool. Now, one key thing you need to pay attention to is that in fractions, the denominator must never contain a radical sign. If you look at this denominator right here, you see that we have radical sign here. And then for this fraction, we also have radical sign here on the denominator side. If this happens, then it means that we have to ensure that we will get rid of these radical signs that we have right here. So you notice that when I multiply the numerator and then the denominator by what we have right here, we have difference of two squares, which will possibly get rid of the radical signs. And aside that, since we have the same denominators, we can easily combine the two fractions. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to write one of the denominators as the LCM. So root 3 plus 1 times root 3 minus 1. Cool. Then for the numerator side, I'm going to take this root 3 and then distribute. Okay, so if I do that, you notice that we have square root of 3 times square root of 3, which will be 3. Then square root of 3 times positive 1, that is going to be square root of 3, which of course is positive. Then plus, let's also distribute this root 3 across just as we did in the other fraction. So root 3 times root 3, that is going to be positive 3. Root 3 times negative 1, that is going to be negative square root of 3. Cool. Now we have 3 plus 3, which is 6. Then positive root 3 and negative root 3 will disappear from the system. Then on the denominator side, we're going to have difference of two squares. Let me push this up a little bit. We have difference of two squares, which could be written as square root of 3 all squared minus 1. Don't forget that this we have square here, but 1 to the power any number is still 1, of course. So this is gonna be 6 over this, and this will go, we are left with 3 minus 1, which is 2. 2 goes into itself 1 and then goes into 6 3 times. So our final answer to the problem is 3. And that's it. Now for this particular question right here, feel free to pause the video and give it a try first. And if you are done, you can come back to the video. Now you notice that for this problem, we have two different fractions and we have to find their difference. So what we want to do is to, of course, simplify. You notice that just as we had in the first question, we have radical signs in the denominator part of the two fractions, which shouldn't be the case. So our aim is to get rid of the radical signs right here. And a quicker way to do this one is to treat them separately, since if we try to combine the denominators, we can never get difference of two squares. So what I'm going to do first is that I'm going to take the first fraction, which is 2 plus square root of 3 all over square root of 3 minus 1, and then rationalize this right here. So here, I'm going to have to multiply the whole of this by the conjugate, which is square root of 3 plus 1. Then I'll also multiply the denominator also by square root of 3 plus 1. Why though? I multiplied both the numerator and then the denominator side by this because I want to make the denominator difference of two squares so that the radical signs will disappear from the system. Cool. And in the same way, I'm going to also treat the other fraction this way. We have minus, and this time we have square root of 3 minus 1 all over 2 plus square root of 3. And for this fraction also, I'm going to multiply this by the conjugate, which of course is going to be 2 minus square root of 3 divided by the exact same thing, 2 minus square root of 3. And we can go ahead and then simplify what we have right now. Okay, so I'm gonna get my white marker. Then from here, since we have difference of two squares right here, on the denominator side of the first fraction, I can rewrite it as square root of 3 all to the power 2 minus 1. Then distribute this across. 2 times square root of 3, that is going to be 2 square root of 3. Then 2 times positive 1, that is of course 2. Square root of 3 times square root of 3, that is just 3. Square root of 3 times 1, we have positive square root of 3. I'm going to extend this a little bit. Then for this right here, I'm going to also multiply this by what we have here. So we are going to have square root of 3 times positive 2, that is going to be 2 square root of 3. Square root of 3 times negative square root of 3, that is also going to be negative 3. Then negative 1 times 2, that is negative 2. Negative 1 times negative root 3, that is positive root 3, all divided by, don't forget that this is also difference of two squares, which could be written as 2 squared minus square root of 3 or squared. Now let me move this to the top a little bit so that we can see it clearly. Now in simplifying this right here, we're going to have 2 plus 3, that is going to be 5. 2 root 3 plus root 3, that is going to be 3 root 3. Then on the denominator side, this and this will go and we are left with 3 minus 1, which is 2. Then minus. Now looking at what we have right here, it is advisable to put this in parentheses since this negative is affecting everything. 2 root 3 plus root 3, that is going to be 3 root 3. Then we have negative 3, negative 2, that is going to be negative 5, all divided by, we have 2 squared, which is 4. Then don't forget that this and this will go. We have 4 minus 3, which is 1. And of course, any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So basically, this is what we have for now. And like I said, it is advisable to put this in parentheses. And let's go ahead and then distribute this negative. That means we have to keep this right here. So we will have 5 plus, but before then, we can also split this fraction so that we have 5 over 2 plus 3 over 2 root 3. Then distributing the negative, you're going to have negative 3 root 3, then plus 5. Then I'll move this one to the top a little bit so that we can simplify further. Now here, we're going to combine the terms without square root and then group the terms with the square root. And if I do that, I'm going to have 5 over 2 plus 5 as one group. Then we're going to have plus 3 over 2 root 3 minus 3 root 3 also as another group. Now let's go ahead and then simplify this. The LCM for this right here is going to be positive 2. 2 goes into itself 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Then plus, this is over 1. Don't forget that. 1 goes into 2 2 times. 2 times 5 is just 10. And then we are also going to have plus. Now for this whole thing right here, the LCM is also going to be 2. 2 goes into itself 1. 1 times 3 root 3, that is still 3 root 3. Then minus. The whole of this is also over 1. 1 goes into 2 2 times. 2 times 3 is going to be 6, then root 3. So let's go ahead and then simplify this, and very soon we'll finish this problem in no time. For this right here, we're going to have 15 divided by 2. Then we also have negative 6 root 3 plus 3 root 3. That is going to be negative 3 root 3 all over 2. Okay, now you can leave it this way, or you can also combine these two fractions. And if you do that, we are going to have 215 minus 3 root 3. And that is pretty much it for this video. I believe you found the video useful. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more, and see you again on the next video. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye bye.